Here's the truth that most men don't want to hear. A woman doesn't think about you nonstop because of how much money you spend on her, how many good morning texts you send, or how often you remind her of your feelings. What keeps a woman's mind running back to you is how you make her feel when you're not around. And I know that might sound uncomfortable, maybe even unfair, but it's reality. See, most men believe consistency means constant access, always available, always showing up, always reminding her, hey, I'm here. But here's the catch. When you give a woman everything up front, you remove the very thing that makes her think about you. Curiosity, emotional impact, and space to miss you. That's where so many men get it wrong. They think effort equals attraction. They think the more they do, the more she'll value them. But what actually makes her replay your name in her mind isn't your effort. It's the imprint you leave behind. The look in your eyes, the calm in your voice, the way you carry yourself. It's the energy that stays even after you've left the room. Because here's the truth. Women aren't sitting around thinking about the man who gives them everything too easily. They think about the man who stands out, the man who's not afraid to be himself, the man who has his own life and doesn't hand out his attention like it's free. That's the man who lingers in her thoughts, sometimes even when she doesn't want him to. So, if you've ever wondered, what actually makes a woman think about me when I'm not around? This is the conversation you need to hear. Welcome to Female Code Unlocked, where we strip away the nonsense dating advice and expose how women really think and what actually works in modern dating. Let's start with the first truth. 1. Mystery makes her mind run wild. Let me tell you something most men never realize. A woman can't stop thinking about a man who doesn't reveal everything all at once. The second you hand over your whole story, your every thought, your every move, you've already taken away the space for her imagination. And it's that imagination that keeps you alive in her head long after you've left the room. When a man is mysterious, he doesn't have to do much. He doesn't overshare. He doesn't explain himself every time. He just carries himself with a quiet confidence that leaves questions unanswered. And trust me, unanswered questions are exactly what keep a woman awake at night. She'll replay conversations, analyze your tone, wonder what you really meant. Ask herself, why didn't he tell me more? What's his story? Who is he when I'm not around? That mental loop is what makes you unforgettable. Let's put this in perspective. Imagine you're on a date. The conversation's going well, she's laughing, she's engaged. Then she asks about your past. Maybe a tough relationship, maybe your ex. Instead of unloading everything, you smile and say, that's a long story for another time. Then you change the subject smoothly. You just planted a seed. And that seed is going to grow. She'll go home, lie in bed, and wonder, what's that story? What's he not saying? She'll scroll through your texts, replay that smile, and think about you again. That's how you stay in her head. But let's be clear. Mystery isn't about being cold or closed off. It's not about hiding who you are. It's about controlling what you reveal and when. If you give a woman everything up front, she has no reason to chase, no reason to wonder, no reason to replay your presence in her mind. But if you leave just enough unanswered, her thoughts will naturally circle back to you. Men often think women want every detail right away. But the truth, what excites her most, is the unknown. We want to uncover you piece by piece, like a story we can't put down. That's what makes a woman think about you nonstop. The fact that she doesn't quite have you figured out. And when she doesn't have you figured out, she'll keep coming back for more. So the next time you're tempted to tell her everything, pause. Give her something to wonder about. Because when she's curious, she's invested. And when she's invested, she's thinking about you, even when she's not trying to. Now that you understand how mystery works, let's move into the second layer of attraction. The part that makes her respect you, not just desire you. It's something that separates the unforgettable men from the forgettable ones. And that is 2. Confidence without needing her. Here's something most men miss when it comes to attraction. Women don't think about the guy who's always trying to prove himself. They don't replay moments with the man who needs their approval to feel good. No. The man who sticks in her mind, the one she replays long after the moment is gone, is the man who already feels solid in himself, with or without her validation. Let me break this down from a woman's perspective. When I meet a man who radiates confidence without arrogance, it instantly shifts the way I see him. He's not desperate for my attention. He's not pushing too hard to impress me. He's not waiting for my approval to feel good about himself. Instead, he carries the kind of energy that says, I know who I am and I don't need you to confirm it. That is magnetic. That's the kind of presence that lingers. Because women are surrounded by men who try too hard. Men who chase validation, who brag, who bend over backward just to earn a smile. And that kind of energy? It's forgettable. But the man who seems unfazed, the one who doesn't crumble when she goes quiet, who doesn't chase when she pulls back, he's the one who sticks in her head. Because he makes her wonder. Why doesn't he need my approval? Why does he seem so comfortable in himself? That question alone plants you in her thoughts. See, attraction isn't about chasing. It's about creating a pull. And that pull comes from your center. Your emotional grounding, your self-trust, your calmness. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to announce itself. It shows up quietly, through how you move, how you speak, how you handle moments of silence. It's in your body language. How you walk into a room, how you hold eye contact, how you stay relaxed even when the energy shifts. It's in the way you make decisions without needing everyone's approval. It's in how you carry yourself when no one's watching. That kind of confidence doesn't scream for attention, it draws it. Let me give you an example. Imagine two men walk into a room. One walks in loudly, cracking jokes, needing everyone to notice him. The other walks in quietly, composed, with a calm presence. He doesn't say much, but when he does, people listen. Guess who lingers in a woman's mind? It's not the loud one. It's the man whose presence speaks louder than his words, because true confidence is energy, not performance. And here's something a lot of guys need to understand. Confidence without needing her doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean you act like you don't care. It means your self-worth isn't negotiable. You know your value whether she validates it or not. That's what gives your presence weight. You can make her laugh, flirt with her, connect deeply. But deep down, your sense of identity stays grounded. You don't rise or fall based on her reaction. And that's exactly what makes you unforgettable. Because women subconsciously test for that. They'll pull back to see how you respond. They'll go quiet to see if you panic. They'll challenge you emotionally just to see if you stay calm or lose yourself trying to please them. When you can stay composed through that, it changes everything. Because she realizes you're not performing for her approval. You're just being you. That's when she starts to respect you. That's when she starts to think about you. Not because you did something extravagant, but because your energy left an impression she can't shake off. You see, most men try to buy attraction with effort. They think, if I give more, do more, show more, she'll want me more. But it doesn't work that way. You can't earn genuine attraction through effort alone. Attraction happens through energy. And confidence, real confidence, is energy that says, I'm already complete. That's rare. That's powerful. That's what keeps her coming back in her thoughts. Now let's talk about what that looks like in real-life interactions. When she texts, you don't rush to reply. Not because you're playing games, but because you actually have a life, and you're not glued to your phone waiting for her message. When you're with her, you're present, but not performing. You listen, you respond, you tease, you lead. But you don't overthink every move, and you don't need her reaction to validate your worth. When she compliments you, you accept it, but you don't start fishing for more. When she flirts, you enjoy it, but you don't get lost in it. You stay grounded. And that's what creates the emotional imprint. Because a woman's mind doesn't replay the guy who was too available or too eager. She replays the man who made her feel something different. A subtle challenge, a quiet authority, a calm energy that made her feel both safe and intrigued. That combination is irresistible. So if you want to be that man, stop proving. Start being. Because the moment you stop chasing validation, you start attracting respect. And when a woman respects you, she thinks about you. She might not admit it. She might not even want to. But her thoughts will circle back to you again and again, because deep down she knows men like that are rare, and rarity always stays on a woman's mind. Now, we've talked about confidence, but there's another layer that cements your presence in her thoughts even deeper. It's something that doesn't fade with looks, money, or charm. It's what makes her feel you even when you're not there. Coming up next, 3. Emotional impact. That lingers. Here's the truth most men avoid. The harder you try to stay on a woman's mind, the quicker she forgets you. But the man who understands balance, the one who knows when to lean in and when to pull back, who carries quiet confidence, who leaves emotional fingerprints instead of constant noise, that's the man she can't stop thinking about. See, women don't lose sleep over men who were too available, too predictable, too eager. They lose sleep over the man who left just enough mystery, just enough space, just enough impact that her mind keeps circling back to him. That's not magic. That's not manipulation, that's psychology. Because when a man gives too much, he kills curiosity, and curiosity is what keeps desire alive. When you're always around, she gets used to your presence. When you pull back just enough, her mind starts to wander. She starts wondering where you are, what you're doing, and who has your attention. That's the spark most men kill, by giving everything before she's earned it. Now let me say this clearly. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to be rich or the best-looking guy in the room. What makes you unforgettable is the energy you project and the restraint you show. Most men focus on giving more attention, more time, more effort, because they think that's love. But attraction isn't about doing more. It's about creating more feeling. If she doesn't feel something when you're gone, you gave her too much when you were there. Let that sink in. Because women don't chase the man who's always there. They chase the man who makes them feel something different. So let's talk about the balance. The art of doing less, but meaning more. When she texts, you don't rush to reply. You reply when it feels natural, when you actually have something to say. Your time isn't on call, it's valuable. When you're with her, you're fully present. No distractions, no games, no acting. But when you're not, you're focused on your life, your goals, your purpose, your mission. That's how you keep her intrigued. Because your attention isn't predictable, it's earned. And here's what that does inside her mind. It builds emotional contrast. She feels your presence deeply when you're there, and she feels your absence even deeper when you're gone. That's how a woman bonds. Not through endless texting or attention, but through contrast. Through the highs and lows of connection and distance. The men who understand that are rare. And rarity is magnetic. Now let's talk about something most men never practice. The art of silence. Silence is powerful. Because in silence, she starts to fill in the blanks with emotion. She'll replay your words, your looks, your tone, your energy. And every time she does, her imagination adds another layer. That's how obsession starts, not through noise, but through memory. And memory grows when space exists. So stop flooding her with your presence. Let her feel your absence. Because when she does, her thoughts will come find you. Now, let's be brutally honest. Most men don't trust that process. They're afraid that if they pull back, she'll forget them. But the truth is, if she forgets you when you stop giving attention, she never felt you deeply in the first place. You can't lose what was never real. But if your presence left an imprint, if she felt seen, if she felt something different, she'll come back to that energy on her own. Because women don't chase men, they chase feelings. And when your energy makes her feel something rare, a mix of calm, safety, and mystery, you'll live rent-free in her mind. Let me give you a mental shift to end on. Stop trying to be memorable through your effort. Be memorable through your energy. Effort fades. Energy lingers. When a woman thinks about you, she's not remembering every word you said. She's remembering how she felt around you, how her stomach tightened when you looked at her, how she smiled when you teased her, How you stayed calm when other men would have cracked. That's what sticks. Not your money, not your texts, not your compliments, your presence. And presence isn't about being there all the time. It's about the impact you make when you are. So ask yourself this. Are you flooding her with attention hoping she'll remember you? Or are you showing up with purpose, leaving her no choice but to? Because that's the difference between being temporary and being unforgettable. Here's the bottom line. The man who floods her with effort is replaceable. The man who makes her feel something different is not. So stop chasing, stop proving, and stop performing. Start living. Build your life. Build your energy. Build your presence. And when you do, you won't have to worry about whether she's thinking about you. Because she will be. Not because you forced her to, but because you became the kind of man who's impossible to forget. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed a woman thinking about you more after you pulled back your attention? Or have you realized that giving too much actually pushed her away? Drop your experience in the comments. I'll be reading and engaging with you there. And remember this, attraction isn't about doing more. It's about creating the right feelings. When you do that, you don't chase attention. You command it. You don't beg to be remembered. You become unforgettable. Welcome to Female Code Unlocked, where we don't chase illusions. We master the reality of what truly pulls a woman in, and what keeps her thinking about you long after you're gone.